Greetings and welcome to the January full moon ceremony. I'm Alexa Spatty, coming to you live from the Gray House Library here at CoSM. How's everybody doing tonight? We're doing good? I like the energy tonight. I like you guys. Tonight's full moon invites us into the theme of the month for February, sacred relationships. This is a moment to pause, reflect, and gently consider how we relate to ourselves, to one another, and to the living world around us as we continue into 2026. Because we're gathered in a more intimate way this evening, there's an opportunity ahead to slow down, listen more closely, and truly feel into the connections that are asking for our care and attention. So whether you're here in the room with us or tuning in from afar, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being part of this gathering and for helping to shape the unfolding of what's to come. To open our gathering tonight, it is a true honor to welcome the artists whose vision gave rise to this space and continues to guide this community. Please join me in giving the warmest welcome in this bitter cold night to our founders, visionary artists, Alex Gray and Allyson Gray. Here they come.
Wow, wow, wow. Aren't we the brave ones that we came out in this fucking freezing cold night? And I'm so delighted and so honored that you did all that you needed to do. We both are. That you did all that you needed to do to be here on this wintry night. But the people that are out there in the audience, they're you know out in the world exactly are also. We love them, okay? And so we all turn around and we say hello to them. Okay, so right there, that camera. People all over the world are tuning in, and we even find out how many, and it's amazing. We're really honored. The moon looked gorgeous tonight, didn't it?
It's been so particularly bright and entrancing, and without all the leaves on the trees, there's a kind of networky, very graphic, and slightly skeletal, but but at the same time, just really clean, clear, and awesome.
Because I like to be I'm so interested, and we both are so interested in the celestial aspect of, what goes on in the sky. Our calendar is just completely has nothing to do with that, but it actually, when you have two full moons in a month, like one on the first early in the month and one late at the late, like we do at this ceremony, it's called a blue moon. But this is really actually not a blue moon, even though the moon looks completely round. So don't forget to notice it when you go out. It's beautifully round, but the full moon is tomorrow. You always see it for more than 24 hours. It's pretty much. But anyway. So this is actually not a full moon, but we always celebrate the Saturday before, if we ever can. And so it's actually very perfect because it's very close to the full moon. So anyway, what I wanted to ask you, though, is, what is it about the moon that we decided to make that the day we celebrate? Why is that?
Well, as we'll find out in a moment, a wonderful shaman advised us to do so, but we saw a lot of metaphorical and ancient ceremonial reasons to connect with the moon in this way. I think everybody has a kind of personal soul to orb connection with this luminous cosmic partner that we all know and relate to. We notice it or we don't. But since we've come into this alignment now for 23 years, Are there any 23 or younger people here?
Younger than 23, yes.
Awesome.
And there's one person
So-
here who was at the first full moon.
Yes, Rosie.
Rosie.
So
Stand up, Rosie.
over
Come on.
those decades,
Rosie's a board member. Everybody should know Rosie and her beloved Mike, Dr. Mike, sitting with her, and we'll meet them later. Yeah.
That's right. She was there at the January full moon, our first one.
But the moon itself, the celestial
yes,
moon,
yes.
is
A sacred mirror.
it's a sacred mirror. Exactly.
It's a mirror of the sun. And since we're the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors, we felt like, why? Obvious. The biggest mirror that we experience in our lives is the moon, that's bouncing off that light of the sun. And so
It has no light of its own, we all know. So it's only because of its reflection that we even know of the moon.
yeah. So in the same way, we could think of ourselves as reflections of a greater light. That kind of invisible light, unless you're tripping, that supports us and that we're a fractal of, the consciousness that is, looking through you and through me at the same time, creating this energy field of love. When you get down to it, it's an infinite kind of love that could concoct a universe where there's a moon and a planet and little critters running around and talking about it. That's a miracle. Like, most of the universe is nothing.
Yeah.
It's just like
Black space.
black matter and energy. I mean, maybe it's super cool. Maybe that's the God stuff or something. Really, the stuff that links the infinite. The infinite has expressed itself into a cosmos, and we get to view it for a little while. What an awesome gift. We just got a life. We got consciousness, awareness, connection with an earth and with a cosmos, with the divine light
In every
that shines
phase.
in each one of us.
Exactly. Yes. And the moon shines in every phase, where sometimes, as our orientation to the sun. And so do we. We have many phases. We go through many phases, day to day and week to week, month to month. And we look back at our month and we say to ourselves, what did we do toward our intentions this month? And what do we plan for our intentions next month? And so having a monthly program we're in our 23rd year, has moved us forward to this, where we have this and all of you. And we had nothing like that when we started. So I'm just so grateful for all of you who are here. And what I want to know, though, is how many people have never been to a full moon before, and this is their first full moon. Welcome to the January, February full moon as your first full moon. I hope you'll continue to join us and see more of them. They are available, as you can tell, on Zoom. And who came, and it's only your own perception, is fine. How many came from a far distance? How do you feel that you came from afar? You want to yell out how far? Yell. Toronto, that's far. Where? Who else? Argyle. It felt like it was far. It was probably hours, right? You came all the way here, and we're so grateful. Pennsylvania. That's a big state. Long. I've driven to Ohio. Anyway, that is wonderful. We're so glad you're here. We're going to start a program in a minute, just about a second. We can sit down even while I'm talking about sacred relationships. And I was going to, I just want to tell you, this stool that I always use was needle-pointed by my Grandma Snyder, as were a couple of other needle-pointed things up there in room 3, I believe. So be careful with them. But anyway, I love it dearly, and I always want to remember. It's a good time to remember your beloved ancestors right now. So I'm going to take my
Yeah, I was
slippers off.
thinking that that's a really good thing. It's kind of like one of the things that we kind of do later on in the thing is these remembrances. But, in a sacred space, it wouldn't, I mean, it would be cool to remember your ancestors that are supporting you.
These
and to
chairs
the-
belong to my parents.
Exactly. I mean, how awesome is that?
I mean, I have them with me. I just celebrated my mother's. God, she died in 2014. So, but anyway, I just celebrated her death day. The other just like 29th, and I used a little candle that is part of my tradition to do, and then my father's comes later. So, yeah, that's to remember your ancestors in this time, and we'll have a moment in the ceremony where you can really call them in.
It's a sacred relationship, and I swear, I think that we're in sacred relationship always in our energy field that we're carrying around with us. There's something in there. Socrates called it a spiritual something. He talked to it, But there are either angels or your or beloveds who are caring for you, or they used to call it your genius or your higher self, if you want, your guardian angel. There's a lot of different names for a spiritual aspect of ourselves, which is always there, and it's only a matter of our paying attention to it and cultivating it. That is the reason that we would have a spiritual gathering at all. It's the kind of tickling of it, It's a kind of letting it come out in a place where it's not always that welcome everywhere. So, but here it's welcome, and it's safe to have your spirit, however it is, in the creative expression that it is. And that's what we welcome. That's the light that comes here and reinforces each other. I swear it's an energy field that we all gain something from. So thank you.
And you can keep your own intentions in mind too. This has been our intention to have you here, and everybody who works here and helps us make this happen. We're so grateful to all of those people who help out. And but we are going to go to the slide that I'm seeing in front of me, but not behind me. John, you want to go to that slide? CoSM Full Moon. There it is. Well, see, we were saying it's the 288th consecutive in an unbroken chain of full moon ceremonies, as I have always said. And the fact that we've never broken that chain, we had to move a couple of times and everything. We always had a full moon. So, we had a full moon with a handful of people, and we had a full moon with, 10 times as many people. So this is a very wonderful, intimate night. We're so delighted that you came to the 288th. Now, just because this is a moment in time that will never be repeated again, this exact way, this is so unique. We want to give it a number, so we gave it so it's 288, and so we add that together, as you can see, to make 18, and 1 and 8 is 9. So tonight is a 9, and we all know that numbers have sacred meaning, so we just like to remember the meaning of 9. And I'm going to say one or two, and you say whatever you want. And then if you have any other meanings of 9, you can yell them out. But the meaning of 9, the way I see it, is a very sacred number because it is the final number before the two digits come together, and then you just keep adding them together, you see. So 9 is a sacred number because it's 3 threes. It is a triple trine. I have my chart, my astrology chart has a triple trine. So it's three threes, and my birthday is 3/3, 52, but it's not 333. So this is 9, and 9 has 3 threes, and threes are very sacred, so it triples and empowers. 3 is, the Trinity, the body, mind, and spirit. What else?
Well, in the Baha'i, they revere
nine.
the nine, and all of their sacred structures have like nine kind of elements that you can like count out, and so they have like nine precepts and things like that, and so I think
You know, one of my favorite precepts of the nine, and I love them
Yes.
all, and I'm not going to name them all to you, but the one that I really love is consort with people of other faiths.
that's super
We doing
cool.
that.
Yeah,
We doing
yeah.
that. You know, we all
Nice.
have all of our faiths, and then we have the traditions that we came from, which may not even be the current faith that we have, but or maybe we combine faiths. We're going to talk a little bit about that sometime soon.
Okay, let's get on with
But
it.
let's get on with it. And anybody else have a number 9 you want to say?
Oh yeah,
Quick.
number 9. Number
Rosie.
9.
I knew we had somebody.
Number 9.
Number 18 in the Hebrew language is chai, which means life. And it's like a blessing in itself. So it's like you say l'chaim, it's like a toast to life. So just saying. There you go. 18 is a 9.
L'chaim.
L'chaim, y'all. That's what my father would say. All right, well, let's...
Okay. So, there's Alex Stark, and he's the guy that inspired us to do a full moon ceremony. He was also an architect, so he worked with me to create the first circular idea for the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors, which we still hope to do someday.
Oh, yeah, we have a plan.
In a construction of the final Chapel of Sacred Mirrors.
And you'll see a
And-
model of
and-
that in the gallery,
Yeah.
right, Alex?
Yeah, yeah. So, but
And
yeah,
there's one up there.
it's all a work
somewhere.
in progress. So anyway, he thought that in order to see if there was a community who was interested in such a thing, you know, we would start the full moon ceremony.
And he
so-
started. He was the head of the prayer committee,
Yes, he was.
and we were hoping for a financial committee or something like that, of course. But the prayer committee was what did it, and Rosie was on that prayer committee too.
That's
so
right. And it
there
turned
you
out to
go.
be the most important
Was-
thing, and I would emphasize that. Your prayer committee for your life.
Get together
is,
with
is
them,
really
even
the
if they're
most
in-
important.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Keith Critchlow called the top line. It's like people are always looking at the bottom line, but don't forget about the top line. You know.
Right. So
So
wait. So that was us doing a full moon in our home in Brooklyn. Yeah.
that's right. There we
with
are.
Alex Stark. Yeah.
What a strange home.
We didn't have
Yeah.
a place. We didn't have another place. We just started it in our home, you know, with
Sure.
a handful of people, and it grew and grew.
Well, it's still a living room church. You know.
Here we are in the living room.
I like that. I think
Really?
it's very comfortable in a home-like
Now, somebody make sure
environment.
we keep the home fires burning. Who's in charge of that?
Do we have one today? Yes, I guess we do. It's going.
All right,
I
good.
guess.
Okay, if I can't see
Yeah.
it from here, so I just want to make sure.
We had a
All
place
right.
in the city for 5 years. It opened in 2004. We're just giving you a little historic, you
Yeah,
know,
we're gonna give it a little-
288. You know, we're speeding it up here, and we
There
had
we
a bunch
are
of them there in the city.
gap.
5 years.
Yeah, in Chelsea on 27th Street between 10th and 11th, we had the whole 4th floor, 12,000 square feet, and we built it. It was raw, and we made all these walls and ceiling and stage and everything. We built it inside of a raw space. Now, of course, it's a club, and I think it's a walk through theatrical experience or something. I mean, we were there for 5 years, and then it was a rental, you know. And as you're going to hear, our mission, CoSM's mission, is to build. Those are the first 2 words: to build an enduring sanctuary of visionary art to uplift a global community. So we knew if it was going to be enduring, we had to have land and we had to build. That was the commandment, you know, that we were following. So anyway, to build. And here we are, early on, when we first got here in 2009. Entheon, a place to experience the divine within. But that's why we came. And for 14 years of being here and renovating all these buildings, we had these paintings that are now in Entheon in a closet. All right? They were all out there in Chelsea, 12,000 square feet. We had all the paintings and more people, other people's art, all this stuff. and we gave Entheon-centric salons and all that. Anyway, they were in a closet, so now we have Entheon, a place to experience the divine within, and you can see them. And we're very glad because we have a wonderful all-one gallery show of like 20 artists, and it's wonderful.
It's amazing. I mean, certainly the community, which has come in, come out, come once, come many times, come to practically every one,
Some of us.
there's been whole kinds of levels. And like, we're an art church. That's like, it's about creativity is the spiritual practice we're talking about. It doesn't have a specific, brand. It's like every one of us is minting it, And so this is a church of where creativity or the creative spirit that animates all of us is reinforced. So Entheon, as this like an idea of creating a sacred space where the mystical experience that people have through meditation, on the natch, in a psychedelic space, that it gets pictorialized, and then it becomes almost like an altar to that altered state. It's a battery of a mystical experience.
But it's
And
also a
somebody-
container.
Yes, and it contains that energy of consciousness that brought it into existence. And by meeting it with that frame of mind, it can reinforce a reality that's collective and yet at our deepest depths. So to have a battery of consciousness altars in a sacred space is what has always been. A sacred space is something that either reinforces a sacred story. They used to call it the liturgy of the illiterate.
What did they call it? What
Because
did they call the liturgy? of the illiterate?
Images,
Images.
icons,
Okay.
because it tells a story without having to use a tongue, and it can bring into focus in some way that language cannot a new map, a new territory in our consciousness.
Can I say something about a battery inside of a container? In the most minimal sense, that's what we all are. A battery of some sort inside of a container. Period. And I really feel that I just want to say this because I guess it's self-serving, but all symbols, everything is a symbol in the material world, because as soon as we look at it, we read it somehow. You're wearing that hat, or you're wearing your hair that way. And everything we see, we judge. So we're meaning-making machines. We are batteries inside of a container, And when I experienced this with secret writing in a psychedelic experience in 1971, and saw in light secret writing all over everything, and we were talking about how you can see light in psychedelic experience in the air. So I was seeing secret writing, and I was experiencing that thought that basically everything is a symbol. We read it, and we all read it differently, or maybe slightly differently, And so the battery is our consciousness inside of the container, and those secret letters are not meant to mean anything. They are meant to be containers in which you put your battery. You can make it mean anything you want it to mean. And more than likely it'll mean, I hope, because I'm the painter, I hope that it means some connection that we have with each other. So that's why I continue to do them throughout my life.
It's
It's the way I want to connect with people in New Zealand in 20 years, and they see it and they say, I've seen that before. And that's boom. It's a part of the net of beings, Alex.
That's right, and that's why we put it at the top of the building of Entheon. it's kind of like a headband that goes around
Oh, the
all
secret
of
writing,
all
yeah.
of. The idea is that this building will one day be one big head, with 30 faces, that turn corners,
And secret
and
writing is going to be on the doorposts of thy house and upon thy gates. And that's one of the things that I feel will happen at some point, is that secret writing will be on the doorposts of the house.
yeah, we have gotten just recently estimates for actually doing this.
Exactly. That's what we're going to
So
share.
that's one of the most awesome kind of developments in this project. You can see the idea, it's kind of emphasizing the transcendental unity of and oneness of our true nature. Now, this may be something we don't hear that often today, but I think it's worth emphasizing and worth thinking about as a humanity that struggles with this idea of being connected with each other, that we imagine it, and that we simply by doing that is a sacred turn of consciousness.
That we call visioning it into being. Okay, when we say visioning it into being, it's like, an example that I love is the steeplehead, which years and years ago we made a little steeplehead, and we made it in different sizes, and we made it in bronze, and we painted some of them, and we had a Kickstarter campaign, and it was a reward, and so many people had one on their altar that it became. And my proposal for the new year is to have a small model of Entheon like that too.
Yeah.
So that people can, this is a community place. This will exist after us, Alex and I. And or at least that is our intention, is that it go on and not end when we end. We're doing such good job of taking care of ourselves. We'll be around for a long time, but we definitely intend that this be an offering. The paintings, the art, the building. The building will bring people here. The sculpted building.
How do you create a pilgrimage place? One of the ancient ways has been to create special sacred spaces. So we already have an open place, and it's been attracting thousands of people. Glory, hallelujah. Who the heck could have known it would happen when we were sitting around our loft with the prayer committee?
And you guys
this
coming
is
here,
completely awesome.
you folks
what is
coming
already
here,
happening.
right.
If nothing else, die anew.
No, I just want to say,
but,
I just want to say you all are part of it by just coming here. And you can be more a part of it as much as you want to. That's what a sacred space does.
Right.
Be part of it as much as you want to, but you already are here. So
Right.
thank you.
So it's a temple building kind of process that we've got going up. Already we have the doors there. They're in bronze. And here you can see it's the archetypal male and female have come back to the garden trying to create a better world.
Now, can I just go a little deep into, just slightly into the history of this door? 30 people from this community came with us to Bali to find a sculptor to sculpt Alex's vision of creating a better world. And we auditioned sculptors when we were there. And we auditioned iron workers to do the gate. So I'm saying there are ways of getting involved and having it be fun for us all and being together. So we're going to keep doing that and gamifying and having a great time doing it. So this is a corner angel.
Yeah, corner angels. And then you can see that there's a kind of hermetic angel that connects the cosmic eye of the creator with the kind of human eye below. And it's got a caduceus-like snake wrapped around a brush. That's the angel of the creative imagination, which serves every sacred tradition.
There we go. We talked about this already. I don't need to say anymore. And
We
this,
got dragons.
this too. We got dragons, though.
We got
yeah.
a steeplehead, and we got a crazy roof. So that's the basic idea. There's the
That's
back.
the back.
And you can see it's still like one head kind of coming together.
The
There's
soul
the
birds,
soul
by
birds.
the way. Tell the
Yeah.
soul birds.
Soul birds are out there. Jane and Walt, that's my mom and dad. And so, yeah,
They're 9
check
feet
them
tall.
out. Mm.
And it came from Alex's inheritance. He decided that the soul birds would be Jane and Walt. Okay.
Yeah.
They had
so
a relationship
how are
that
we go-
lasted.
They did.
Did.
Super powered by artist parents, and so here's how we're going to do it. To break down the kind of the masks of the building into steel supported structures that can be put up by a construction crew. These are some of the engineering drawings that show the structure with what they call these vertical girts that are going up throughout the building. You can see all these verticals, and then there's shelves on the girts, and then there's like boxes that sit on the shelves. So it's a very logical kind of lock in place design by a brilliant engineer. And let me read this quote by Plotinus, which describes the building, which I simply found. He's like a 3rd or 4th century Neoplatonic philosopher. And I was reading it a few years ago after designing Entheon and thinking, holy moly. Since we look towards the outside, away from the point at which we are all joined together, we are unaware of the fact that we are one. We're like faces turned toward the outside, but attached on the inside to one single head. If we could turn around, then all at once we would see God, ourselves, the all.
And you just found that recently too, which is amazing. Okay,
Thank you, Plotinus.
Thanks, Plotinus.
Good tagline.
This is when we have a big event, like our next big event, where we're having projections on the building. Will be, I believe, the vernal equinox. Correct.
I believe so.
Yeah. So so it's beautiful. It looks like that. But this is what it looks like now. And I love to call this the call to action, because as much as we have this is what we have. And those of you who have been inside of Entheon know how glorious that is. And those of us who realize having them in the closet was just unacceptable. All those beautiful paintings in space for 20 artists to show their work. So anyway, this is what we have, which we're so grateful for. Thank you, Creator. It's taken tens of thousands of people to get here, really. Everything you see is brand new around you. So, it has taken a lot to get here, and we got all the other buildings in shape before this opened, okay? So we'd have a classroom, so we'd have an office, so we'd have places for guests to stay, and we could hold our ceremonies and have the full moon here, and we waited, and now it's here. We're in our 3rd year. We're getting close to our 3rd year of being open after COVID. So COVID marks it all. But this is what it's going to be. So everybody take a good look. Let's just take 30 seconds and just gaze.
Yeah, if you can, use your imaginations to envision a building covered with heads like this around that.
So we like to say the inevitable consequence of love is the building of a temple. Why do we say that? Because when you have friends, when you have a partner that is phenomenal, and then you love so much, and then you have friends that you love so much, and then you have more friends that you love so much, because you keep inviting them back every month, and they keep coming whenever they can from all over the world. We see our friends. And we've been all over the world. So we make friends everywhere. And that's what it's all about, folks. You have big dreams? Friends. Really. Anyway, the inevitable concept of love is the building of a temple. And we love you so much. We're so glad you're here. This, is our just for a quick second, if you ever walked up here on a day like this, you could see that there is a little property on the other side of the road that we have been renting for 14 years. We are just about to buy it. And we're setting a date, and it's happening next week or the week after. So we're coming really close to that moment where this property will be part of our property. We've been renting it, though. We've been using it, and it came for sale. We didn't want anybody else to live there because
it's too close to
road.
Entheon.
That's our driveway.
It's part of the
road?
Entheon project.
That's our driveway.
Yeah.
So it was like, we don't want someone that doesn't love us or they'd be annoyed by us.
No.
We want to have our friends there. So we've been renting it all these years. But anyway, exciting things, always something new. Every month we can share with you, So sacred relationships. I love this one. This is the best. Let's see. So I'm going to read it, or you can. What makes a relationship sacred? Our most sacred relationship is the one we have with our soul, the creator within.
Yes.
Say no more.
Wow. Yeah, it's that within. And like in our symbol, it's kind of God is the entire enchilada, and yet it's also the point within us.
Well, as long as you're going to say that, I like to say it's higher vision. It's pointing up in there, and then there's this eye in it. So it's higher vision through creative manifestation. That's what symbol making is. As artists, musicians, whatever we do, they're all symbols. So through creative manifestation, higher vision. And that's what this means. So I love to have that
beautiful.
Opportunity to say that. Yeah.
And this image says earth consciousness becomes cosmic consciousness through human consciousness. So that's the way we recognize our oneness with the universe. Is through that consciousness. Like, how can you distinguish your consciousness from God consciousness? Right? It's you can't do that because basically, what is your consciousness? If there is infinite consciousness,
it's embedded.
You're basically channeling it.
Indeed. So here it says, sacred relationship is divine polarities. The self and creator, body and mind, individual and environment, good and evil, male and female. Relationship means connection, association, involvement, kinship, alliance, dependence. And separateness is delusion. How do I know that? How do I know that? You all know how I know that. For those of you who know how I know that. So anyway, separateness is delusion. Anyway.
Now, this is one of my favorite symbols of, you could even think of it almost like God. But they would, of course, the Buddhists would never say God. They're atheists, basically. And for the Tibetan Buddhists, this is a symbol of something that can't be represented because it's basically formless. And so how do you put a form around the formless? So this blue Buddha is supposed to represent the formless kind of awareness that always is and always has been. The I am witnessing presence of the timeless now. That witness that's seeing through us, that we all are. So this is to represent that. There's that spaciousness, and then there's all manifestation, that it interpenetrates blissfully all dimensions of manifestation. So this infinite, boundless consciousness, is interpenetrating all dimensions of manifestation. And so that is symbolizing, and at the center there of a shared heart is the sacred syllable ah. So like is the sound of that sacred space. Yeah.
I just have to say that even though this looks like two people sitting atop each other, okay, it is meant to express the non-dual. Well, that's a really good polarity right there, because so what's that all about? Well, I feel that in our world that we live in, the material world, if we could merge the polarities and feel as one, non-dual, all problems would be solved, all problems would be solved. So it's the merging of the two into one, and the feeling that you have when you have a double orgasm. You are just plugged into the moment, the now. There's no out there. It's all in there. So you express it through this symbol. I don't know. Off we go.
Yeah. Well, the one painting is on display there, as the Oversoul is in Entheon. And so this idea of the sacred mirror is really cool, when you look into the eyes of someone you love, or even just that you're meeting or something. So everything around us, especially our relationships, shine back on us. All is perceived through the self. Now, what is the self? Oh, boy. Maybe it's the
battery in the meat bag.
It's the receiver. Yeah. It's the receiver of these different levels, these different dimensions, And so it's simultaneous with consciousness. You can't separate the receiver from the field, I think. They're co-arising. So, in a sense, this is you, but it's you also in the eyes of the beloved.
Merging.
You recognize your oneness.
Like
exactly.
merging, like your consciousness, which is above
Yeah.
you, is merging. But what I love that it says is the personal transformation shifts our worldview and circumstances. Have you ever noticed how when you shift your worldview, your circumstances change too? We know this. Okay.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Love of the Creator. Now, this is a list of people that we're going to think about today, as far as relationships go. So get somebody's picture in your mind as we read through this. And by the way, if you ever wanted to pull out your phone and make any notes, I see some people note-taking, and really, some things are worth remembering. Love of the Creator. A partner. Family. Parents, children, friends, community. Love, love, love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love everyone. That's what Neem Karoli Baba told Ram Dass. Ram Dass learned that from you. Love everyone, and it's part of my prayer every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Can be a tough one.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta have compassion because of ignorance and delusion. You know what I mean? You can definitely see ignorance and delusion and still have compassion, even though they're troubled, sin, did terrible things. Feel sorry for them. They have to live with themselves. God. An ideal relationship. Let's talk about that. An ideal relationship with a beloved partner is achievable. Honestly, it really is. And so is an ideal relationship with parents, children, friends, and coworkers. And I'll just tell you how to figure out how to make any kind of inroads into any of those areas that are not working. It's like the hard ones especially, just go deep and see how you are the cause. They may be the cause too, surely they are, but you take that responsibility. What did I do to make this happen? And you can still be, keep giving them lots of space. Acting with gentle kindness and empathy is paramount. Some people need space. You know who needs space? Monsters. Give them space. All that you can. What makes a relationship work? I love those 2 images of yours, Alex.
Yeah, it says something about recognizing the Holy Grail that is your beloved relationship. It's not always easy to recognize, but it's really what you have, the sacred chalice you draw from that really is infinite love energy, actually. And you're the receiver. You're the of an infinite supply, not from your partner, but from yourself and from your depths.
Sacred relationships value positivity over negativity.
I would say that they might even help transform negativity into positivity. Now, that's a alchemical process that might not always look like what you think it should, But in the end, if they love you, there is an alchemy that is going on, and that will, I think, draw it from negativity toward positivity, or from pathology toward wellness, from fragmented toward wholeness,
So, and what you would rather live with, what you personally would rather live with, positivity over negativity. So the next thing, sacred relationships have integrity. And I like to define integrity this way. I heard this definition of integrity that I've always really liked, and that is really basic. Doing what you said you'd do when you said you'd do it. How many of us have not done what we said we'd do when we said we'd do it ever in life? I think we all have. So we have to forgive ourselves our lack of integrity, and we have to take responsibility for it. And that's the only way to get back into integrity, is to take responsibility for it. See how you're the cause. And even if they're the cause too, attest to your responsibility of not doing what you said you'd do when you said you'd do it. And it happens daily. You're late for something. I'm late. That's all you have to say. Sacred relationships can be counted on. Yeah, you don't want to not be able to depend on somebody. And how many people have not been able to be counted on? Everybody, sometime or another. So just take where you're the cause. Like, I'm late. Listen, or I hurt your feelings. I really hurt your feelings. That kind of thing. Take account of what it is. Sacred relationships listen and communicate openly. I think of that as the being powerful. Being powerful is, saying the truth as you see it and taking what you get, with no force required at all times, Okay. Should I read this? You go ahead.
Okay. An ideal partner is a grown-up. That's a great aspiration, isn't it?
So here's a
resolving
list of things.
childhood trauma or loss. Okay. Now, it takes a lifetime sometimes to get over some stuff. Okay. But it's also, if you've started on that trail, God bless you, facing your own psychological inheritances, and also kind of moving on from it, or and not being trapped in it. So emotionally emancipated, and it doesn't even mean moved out of the basement of. Emotionally emancipated from family of origin.
And you say that, and I so want to emphasize that some people are living with their parents and they're helping, and they're welcome, and they're comfortable, and so nobody's making you wrong for that. That is, families stick together, and if it works, it works. But emotionally, emancipated, so that you do have a life and friends of your own, emotionally.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the idea of willing to let go of old identities, patterns, and past upsets. Boy, I'll tell you, that's a life's work. That's a great one, because you get to, I mean, from a Buddhist perspective, they call that it's kind of your narrative, that you came up with, that's yourself, that you've got your spool of stories and whatever, it's your sacred narrative of yourself, your heroic, mythic self. But really, they're saying that you're the consciousness that's observing it all. Don't be too attached, to it. And the less attached you are to it, the more likely, the less suffering you're going to have, actually.
Blaming and old identities cause you to be attached and to not what were we just saying? Well, anyway, I think we all understand what that means. It's not being the cause. That's what I was going to say. You're not seeing how you could be the cause. Blaming others. See the relationship as a transformative path. That's what I think is really at the bottom of the whole marriage thing, whether or long-term enduring relationship thing, is for your own personal transformation. You want to be a better person? Find somebody to get along with for a lifetime, honestly. It really works. Even if it's not for a lifetime, you really learn a lot, don't you?
It's amazing, because I getting married, we had to have our own understanding of that, but we, from the outset, was saying it's going to be a transformative path. It's the path of love is a transformative path. And so
we all have rough edges.
Yeah.
And then we rub up against each other and they smooth down a little bit. So I think it's a learning process. And if you don't have a partner, it's just great to be that with friends. If my sister always said, if you are looking for friends that are perfect, you won't have any friends. And she has lots of friends. My sister has a lot of friends. So she was really right about that. And we have to, forgive each other too. Yeah. Okay, so sacred relationships value positivity.
Wait
we
a
did that
minute.
one. You went the wrong way.
I'm going backwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
Sorry.
ideal partner. Now, what is the ideal partner? Is open to feedback and avoids oversensitivity when a communication is delivered with empathy. That means get off it, basically. And forgive. Forgive. Especially if they said they were sorry and they really meant it. You know what I mean? Like, how much do they really mean it? But they do sometimes, and then you just have to have empathy.
That's right. Yeah, I love it. I feel like...
Read the second one.
Okay.
An ideal partner is...
honest, living with integrity, and without betrayal.
Now, let's just say something about betrayal. You want to?
Okay.
Well, I'll just...
What do you want to say?
Well, I want to say on the ladder of consciousness, the ladder of consciousness, where you have like on the unconscious levels of being and then the conscious levels of being, the betrayal is kind of at the bottom, really, because it's the one where you can't trust this person. So you want to clean up those betrayals. You know what I mean? And they're betrayals to yourself too. I mean, there's ways that you betray yourself. You lie to yourself. You say you're not going to do something, or you are, and then you don't keep that word for yourself. That's not integrity. So anyway, these are things we all deal with. Some of the suffering that we have, as human beings. But it's worth looking at them once a year, and then some. You know what I mean? With resolutions that we make month to month about being a better person. That's just we try to clean up those integrity
Absolutely.
issues.
It's a work in progress. That's why I think as a creative person, you can say, look, I'm not perfect, but I'm working on it. And
Indeed.
so, keep at it. And I think that the idea of, also as a creative person, you want to have your own world and soul and things, but in partnership, you want to be respectful and sensitive to the other, and you want to support them in what that they're doing. You want to be affectionate, and I love this idea of having a sense of humor.
Well, that's so important. Everybody's looking for a little levity, you know what I mean? But they also have to be, there for you when you're sad as well.
That's right,
and
not make a
responsive.
joke out of everything.
Well, not only that, but just be supportive and and empathetic. I think those
I
are
agree.
ideal qualities. certainly.
Totally.
What makes a relationship last? Here's the answer. Choose wisely and stop choosing. Okay, so let's go to choose wisely first. Choose wisely. Now, some of us may be still choosing, or some of us may be wondering whether the partner that we're with is the right choice. This is the thing. Talk to others who you really trust about it before you make a commitment. That's one thing. If you're going to say, I'm going to live with you and we're going to be together forever, or marriage or whatever, and you still aren't sure, talk to people who you trust. Really, like go to now, some of us can't go to our parents because we can't trust our parents, but some of us can or can trust one parent, and you ask your friends that you trust, what do you think about this relationship? If you have any questions whatsoever. Okay? I didn't do
I
that.
never asked.
I never asked either.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know.
But it's okay if you do. It's okay if you do. You may find that this relationship evolves. So whatever your decision is, choose wisely. And that's how you get wisdom, is by being open to other people's points of view, even if they're wrong. Just take it with a grain. Anyway, choose wisely and then stop choosing. That is the end of that. That answers the question about having an enduring relationship. But let me just say this. Not everybody even wants an enduring relationship. I have loved it. Alex has loved it. Many of us have loved it, but some of us like polyamory. And if that is your thing, baby, go for it. I just love you just the way you are, okay? That is what you're up to. I couldn't bear that personally. And we decided that at some point, early on, that really commitment to each other was important to us. But if you're exploring, you're exploring. I explored before I met Alex. So I am all about you loving who you are. But stop choosing is something that you do when you don't want to have any more partners. Some point, even if you're exploring, you may want to have a single partner. You may be in your 50s, but people are late bloomers. Hey, you got to have great experiences. But anyway, when you do decide that this is the one, you just take it for what you promised you would take it for at the wedding. Richness and poorness and sickness and health and all that stuff. Just remember back and do it. But if it's not, then you don't want to be. Nobody should tolerate abuse, okay, or unhappiness for a lifetime. So you have to, we make those choices. It's so wonderful that we live in a time when we're not stoned for that. Just do what you want. In an enduring relationship, love is aligned on material, emotional, and sexual satisfaction. Say no more. Say no more.
Well, it's not to say that you don't go through hills and valleys. Good grief. I think that you do. And, of course, love supports your psychological health and spiritual realization. but it also can probably it might strain it. Hopefully it would align with it.
Well, that's why we use the word aligned.
Yeah, and so
Like your partner doesn't have a lot of money and you have a lot of money. How are you going to work that problem out? These are separate things that have to be talked about honestly and not hidden, and the satisfaction that goes along with that on both parts. I'm not satisfied, or I am. Love support. Let's see. In an enduring relationship, love supports psychological health and spiritual realization. What if one of you is an atheist and the other one is a Roman Catholic, a devotee, or one of you? Got to work that out. It's one of those things that you can work out. You just have to, if you want to stop choosing. Boundaries are or not. Boundaries are healthy and clearly articulated. Yeah. I need to have the bathroom to myself in the morning. No, I don't do that. We try to be as open as possible, but you have to make those choices.
I think you gotta flex flow as well.
Yeah.
And so I love the idea that your love continues to be creative, and that you can appreciate. That's part of the art process, is appreciating what you're doing or other art or something like that. So, your sacred relationship with yourself or with your partner or with your community can remain creative and find people to appreciate. It's like one of the ways to bring yourself up, actually, can be, if you land it in the right way, I think. And so, yes, continue to learn and evolve together if you can, take some of the same lessons, but also respect each other's space and what they're doing.
Because we're talking boundaries versus sharing material resources.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are discussions that have to be had. That's just all there is to it. These are the things that come up.
Yeah.
But it's good when you can share as much as possible. In a relationship that lasts, partners commit to personal betterment and transformation. Well, I don't want to change because that's just the way I am. Gee. I think personal betterment and transformation is a better road. Partners consciously care for personal health in body, mind, and spirit. Yeah. Partners share goals that serve that serve others. They share goals that serve others and support an environmentally and socially responsible lifestyle. That is a relationship that lasts when both partners do that. Yeah, share
I love
goals.
that.
I love that too.
I love that.
What can you do to improve a relationship? Okay, so omit blame, criticism, and invalidation from your side of the relationship. Omit it. Omit. If it leaks out, acknowledge it and apologize. Honestly and with authenticity. Pay attention to and express gratitude for positive things your partner says and does. Oh, you can think of something nice to say about the other person every day. It's easy. Notice mention small and essential acts and words that you love and appreciate. So just be nice. Damn. I love this painting too. The trust and support of true love opens a third force.
There's a kind of a character that you can see through the people that is it's a combined field, and this being comes into being, when the two beings commit to each other, and then it kind of like is a force that does something that neither one of them alone could ever do or would ever dare do. And so that kind of force, I think, is what, takes the form of community sometimes. It takes the form of spirit sometimes. It takes the form of a child in between two parents sometimes. It takes on a responsibility that two people choose as a creative endeavor. It can help unite your relationship, to find it, that third thing that you like to do together,
Like have a family. That's what a lot of people do. Have a
Right.
house.
Right.
Have a home.
Mhm.
Decorate it, do it, whatever.
What do you do that's not helpful in a relationship?
As Alex has done this.
Hey, buddy.
Look at this. We know
Who,
this.
me?
We know just what's going on there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Notice reactive defensive thoughts, words, and behavior. Notice them. Do not assume your partner knows what you want. Boy, we all know what that's like.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Be clear and specific about your needs.
I think that is the best procedure.
So when somebody else comes to you with their needs, just be a little receptive, even if it's, to be kind about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Celebrate
Celebrate
differences.
differences, share ethical values, and acknowledge shadows.
When you notice what you do that does not help a relationship, do something different. Consider doing the opposite.
I
Just
think
think of
looked
anything
like
that you
George
do.
Costanza.
I know,
that's
that's why
you, that's
put
why
it-
you said that.
And that's my illustration. When you notice what you do, that we do figure drawing here every month, and some other figure drawing classes too. It's really fun. When you notice what you do that does not help a relationship, do something different. Consider doing the opposite. It's just to play it, play that. Do something different. Ask your partner and ask yourself, what makes you feel loved and special? Then share your lists. Every day fulfill at least one loving, caring behavior for your partner. These are tasks that you could put on your to-do list to improve your relationship. That's the name of this chapter, folks. Sorry. Improving your relationship. So here we are, very young. Oh, very young. Yes, that's Alex when we got married. It wasn't at our wedding. It was in our loft, but it was how you wore your hair then.
Yeah, that's when we got married.
1977.
In 77. Yeah. About 50 years ago. Oh, yeah.
This was the first performance we did together.
God's art. Yeah. It was in a case. Thank you, David.
In a medical museum, there was a case that was empty just overnight practically, and then they were going to put stuff in there, before it reopened. And Alex worked there, so we went in and we did that piece with an audience of one. David.
Yeah.
He was the curator of the museum, and Alex worked for him
and took this picture.
And took the picture, and God bless you, David.
Yeah.
May his memory be a blessing, as they say.
Yeah.
This was the performance that we did together that I've always considered the time that I decided to change my name to Gray, because I wasn't going to change my name when I got married to Alex, but but Gray was a name that you chose with my consent in a way. You know what I mean? You wrote to me and said, which one should I call myself? Should I change my name to Gray, or should I make it X? And I said, Gray. Gray would be good, yeah. So, because he was trying to meld the opposites, so you chose that name, but this is when I chose the same name. I wanted to have the same name as you.
Right.
I thought that'd be really fun, especially since you had made it up, and I was there, and I felt connected.
Right.
And so we did this walking meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out my mother was
walked
there.
and I sat. Yeah,
my
your
sister.
too.
My
Yeah.
sister's there behind the camera.
And it was at Sarah Lawrence. There was a kind of a yin yang symbol there on the ground. So we started with these symbols, and I was in black grease paint. Allison was in white. And at some point, we stepped outside of the circle of duality, merged our pigments, and became gray.
So it was a very physical symbol of becoming gray together, where Alex was black and I was white. But it all came around Alex's sort of obsession with polarities, which we resolved on his first LSD trip, you know. So here we are being the nuclear war. We were like protesting nuclear war. We ate and threw up money at a performance, together. We made this. You show the costumes we made.
Yeah, it was called Wasteland.
Wasteland,
And
yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. X,
Oh, yeah.
there's the emergence of X, were on their way
That's
to
right.
dinner when they were surprised by a nuclear blast. They arrived at a dinner table in hell to feast on money. So there we were.
There we were.
But in the end, they barfed up the money and pulled back the nuclear clock and sauntered out.
Well, it was
So-
nuclear madness. People were really afraid. And we did this makeup and costume thing, and we did it in Montreal. It was we were doing performance art together. Yeah.
The nuclear family.
This was at University of
and so-
Massachusetts Amherst.
Yes.
We walked around naked in red in gold grease paint.
I noticed that it was on February 16th that we did it. Or
Wow.
15th, actually.
It's my father's death day.
mm,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, remarkable.
Yeah.
At any rate, yes, this was in 1983. And it was, we were spiritualizing the space and still going in a circle. And I always felt it was a symbol of the self. That it was somewhere between birth. There's male and female aspects of our DNA that weave us together. And,
We were tied to this
and
wheel.
Death pursues us.
Yeah.
So this is
We
the
were tied to
self.
the wheel with a gold rope, and I was carrying the realistic baby doll, and Alex was strapped to the skeleton, the birth and death, and we were in between.
Yeah.
And this was life energy. Oh no, this was Living Cross.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen some of these in Entheon,
Yes.
but in this piece, tell Alex describe the
Well,
piece.
it's a unity of polarities. In most or many sacred symbols, there are these unities of polarities. Like in the cross, you've got the vertical and the horizontal kind of line there, and so this is at that juncture, at that axis that's set up by the connection between the opposites. We have the meeting of polarities in the male and female there, who are just breathing in the center, surrounded by apples and roses. And so it smelled very sweetly, and lots of candles were in the room. And hovering above us was this angel of death and transcendence, because it carried the infinity symbol with it. And it was this in alignment where we were merging our polarities, and it was in this connection point between all the polarities that it was the living
It was
cross.
made of 500 big red apples, and we were lying in a bed of roses, and there were just only the candlelight and the neon was the light in that large space, and there were Gregorian chants going on. So Alex and I had candles on our chests, so you could just see them breathing, and our eyes were closed, and we lay there motionless for 3 hours. And into that room came a man who, I'll just tell you, changed our life entirely. He gave us the MDMA that made us envision the chapel. And not only did we envision the chapel on that journey, but I lost an incredible amount of fear that I had every night going to bed thinking about death and my separation from my beloved and how that would be and what that would be like. And we were only, in our 30s, I guess. But anyway, I had this nightly sort of terror about that, and MDMA just took it right away. You know, ever since then, 1985, I was free of that. So I, and this
Curious.
man was there.
Yeah.
He gave us that MDMA. So
Yeah.
this is us in front of Lincoln Center doing
Yeah.
the goddess.
I did 100
Performance.
prostrations at the foot of the goddess while Allison was nursing our daughter. And then we exhibited briefly this goddess that was 55 feet long, made of 5,500 apples. And then we boxed it up, and it became food for the homeless shelters in New
City
York
Harvest
City.
came and took it, and we were given $3,000 to do this piece in front of Lincoln Center. And Alex called up the Bronx Market immediately and said, "How many number 10 apples can we get for $3,000?" And that's how many were in the piece. So we just gave it all. That was like, that was it. And go to the next slide. I think that's another one of us. No,
Yep.
you didn't include that. Anyway, it shows the three of us together. Zena's first performance. She was like 7 months old.
This piece was called HeartNet, and this was at the Baltimore
Museum.
American
The
Visionary
Art
Art
Museum.
Museum,
You should
which
see
is
it.
an awesome
Yeah.
museum. And if you ever get down to Baltimore, it's even worth the trip to check out AVAM, American Visionary Art Museum.
We'll actually
But-
be there for my birthday.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
true.
telling the world right
In
now.
March.
You want to come to AVAM for my birthday?
Hmm.
It's in Baltimore. You're all welcome. I'll be there in the afternoon. I'll probably stay all day. I love that museum, and that is where I'm going for my birthday this year. See you there.
So this was
my
an
commercial.
installation that we had there several years ago, and we had like the eye was crying into a little pool, and all kind of crazy things happened. But it was an installation that was up for a year, and we invited people to basically put a prayer on this heart net that was spread out over the globe, to give our world prayers, and to show a collection of the overcoming of opposites and envision a world to come.
So we like to say the inevitable consequence of love is the building of a temple. We just said that before when we showed you the building, but there we are with lots of people that loving each other, and there's the temple. So we're really
Still want to build it.
we're on our way. We're closer than we've ever been. Okay,
Yeah.
Seriously, aren't we? The mission of CoSM: build an enduring sanctuary of visionary art to uplift a global community. And we thank you all so much for hearing us today. Thank you. Now, what happens? I think now, what's going to happen next?
We, okay. Well, this is interesting.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. This is what we do next because we have a little bit of a set change right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to all stand up. If you have a plate on your lap, you have to put it beside you. But we're going to all stand up wherever we are, and we're going to stretch, and we're going to turn around and find somebody we haven't introduced ourselves to yet and introduce ourselves right now.
Please find your seat so we can continue the program. Thank you. Find a seat. Make yourselves comfortable so we can continue with our next act.
So
good.
everyone, let's see. Let's sound that gong again. And as we sound the gong, everybody sits down and is quiet. We could have done this standing too, but instead we're going to do it seated. So just sit up nice and tall. Everybody in the back, please sit down, because we're gonna do together. We're gonna do 3 ahs. Now tell everybody why we're gonna do ahs, Alex.
Okay, remember those two that were in blissful union, and out of the center of them, there came the sound of awe? Our Tibetan teacher told us that that was the sound of primordial perfection. And so together, if we affirm it 3 times, then we can say on the level of body and mind and spirit that there is primordial perfection, and that we're part and aligned with that. And that's what we really are. So we affirm it. Here we go.
That is totally an altered state of consciousness. I'm hoping you enjoyed it as much as I did. Now we have an incredible enjoyment that we're about to have, and I'm going to hand him the mic in just a minute. But I want to introduce you to Nandan. Nandan lived with us as a staffer for years and was really devoted and incredible. And Nandan is a amazing pianist. So I heard Nandan play for us on the worst possible piano that was ever played on, and it was so beautiful. He was so tolerant, because we had this old rickety piano in here, and he would play for the full moons before. But anyway, I'd love Nandan to tell you the origination and kind of etymology of his name, as well as a little bit about what he's going to play for you tonight. So I'm going to just give him my microphone. Here you go.
Hi, yes. So I also, those of you, I go by the nickname Dan. That Nandan I chose for myself. It's one of the sacred Sanskrit names. It means joyous sun, and it is a hope and a blessing for myself in many ways, to have the rest of my life be joyful and a manifestation of joy. So I wanted to do something very, very special for Alex and Allyson. As they said, I played at the very first full moon ceremony that was here on the property that we had on a rickety old piano that was sitting literally right over there. Half the keys didn't work. To back it up a little bit, I was a concert pianist for a long time, and I decided at 18, after getting really burnt out, that I no longer wanted to pursue music, and I walked away from it. And I had kind of forgotten that it was such an integral part of my life, that I had devoted 9 hours a day at points of my life to play music. And it wasn't until I played on this piano that was here that I started messing around with it. I was like, oh. I started remembering a few things, and then I had my parents ship some books up here so that I could start relearning some Beethoven sonatas. And being here reawakened that for me and has changed the course of my life. And so what I wanted to do is create a very special piece of music. I'm not exactly sure how I started getting into this. If you want to put the slide up that we have of pictures. I don't know if I was maybe inspired by Bach. He used to put his initials into all of his own pieces, which I thought, hey, that's way cool, you know. What if I decided to take a name and translate it into music using Pythagorean numerology? So what I did was I used a Pythagorean numerology, and then I set every single degree, every single number. I used a tone from the melodic minor scale. A melodic minor scale has 9 tones, exactly 9 tones. It also has a lot of the tones from the major scale. Just not to nerd out too much on music here, but it's really important, because then what I do is I take and I use these tones and translate them into music as names. So Alex is, and then Allyson does a larger leap. And then what I did is in between, you can see the A-L-Y. I used, if you look between their names, there's only one tone that's different. And Allyson brings that in with the Y there, which is a 7. And so what I wanted to do is, you know, in music is a lot like language in many ways. We wouldn't just say Alex, Allyson, Gray. We would have an and. We would have a phrase to join them together. And so I used that 7, which also then shows up again in their last name. And so there are a couple of different ways that I played this. You see up there, I have the F sharp and the G sharp reversed. At the beginning, I do it this way. And at the very end, I use the 3 tones, the 6, 9, and then 1 to return back to home. So the numbers themselves also become very important. So we'll see what happens.
I want to ask you one question. So what you're going to play for us would be like an improvisation using those sort of threads. Is that what you're saying?
This is a little bit more structured, So I basically make musical motifs, almost like Wagner did, out of your names. And so they recur over and over again throughout the piece in different forms. Okay. In the same form, but then also in slightly varied forms. So I tried to pay a little bit of homage to Beethoven in this piece. I paid a little bit of homage to Chopin as well. And so I would really like to present to you Nocturne in A minor.
Thank you so much, Nandon. Okay, I'm ready.
That's amazing.
I'm humbled beyond words. I just want to say, and I want to thank you for that peak experience. That was such an honoring that I am grateful that I practiced not being deserving, because I know that was a miracle. And so that was definitely, seeing you and having you here is just such a treat and a pleasure.
Yeah,
so thank you
this
so much.
That the sound that was first heard here at a full moon is now echoed in this
Much better
incredible,
piano.
like, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, thank you so much. And I think we are going to move on now to the blessings and declarations portion. For you folks who may not have seen a full moon before, this is an opportunity for people out, a few people will be able to make a blessing or a declaration, but we want you to keep it to a minute, because that way we can listen to more blessings and more declarations. And you know what a declaration is. It's like when you set an intention in front of a whole community of people that really support and love you, your chances improve gigantically. So that's why we do this every month. Okay, so, and Alexa has the microphone. Who has a blessing or a declaration that they'd like to make right now? I know they're out there. There they are. Okay, I got a couple of them right here.
Mine will be brief. I'm turning 40 on February 4th.
Oh, wow.
I am trying to manifest blessings for a much better, healthier, happier, more joyous decade.
May it be so.
Hey, I'm David. Mine is very simple. It's just more mushrooms, less fascism.
More mushrooms, less fascism. Thank
Yes.
you. That's it.
Hi, I'm Joanna, and may everyone who resonates with sacred partnership, however that looks and feels for them, may it be fulfilled wholly and fully in the most easeful of ways, and may unions of all kinds just bring more miracles and innovation into our hearts and minds and our earth and our interrelationality. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Joanna. Thank you so much. That is so
Beautiful, Joanna.
blessed. That's such a beautiful blessing. Thank you. Thank goodness.
My declaration is to travel more and do what scares you and connect to nature, hug the trees, feed the birds, and paint more paintings.
And paint more paintings. Right on.
Yes.
I felt like I saw someone else up here.
There's somebody way back in the back.
Oh,
Alexa.
Jewel, yes.
Run
I
on
gotta
back
get to
because I
Jewel.
think they deserve a turn.
Absolutely.
Somebody, a representative of the gallery section.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jewel. I just would like to make a declaration and just say for everybody to just follow their dreams, no matter what it is, even if it doesn't make sense to anyone, your friends, your family, your neighbor, whatever the case may be. Continue to follow your authentic path. You will always be led exactly where you need to, and just being yourself, you will be led to your community, your soul fam, your path, just by showing up as yourself. And that is my declaration for this lovely gathering for this evening.
Thank you,
thank
Joel.
thank
That
you.
was beautiful.
Joelle's doing tarot and numerology tonight. I'll talk more about that, but
Yay,
there she is.
yay.
Brilliant.
Oh, fabulous.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Russell. This is my wife, Kelly. Since it's about sacred relationships, Kelly and I were together 35 years, married for 30. And I'm just so proud to be able to spend every day with her. Thank everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Love wins.
Okay, do we have time for one more?
We do. I thought I saw, was it your hand? We could take it to the World Wide Web. Oh, we got one right up here. I see the hand. Here you go.
Thank you. My declaration is that numbers are not specificalities. They are lovers of all, and the numbers have favorites. Every single number has a favorite, and they are specific in their own way, but they love. And after seeing the love of all numbers, forget about all the numbers.
They're symbols.
Beautiful.
Oh, and what was your name? What was your name?
My name's Orion.
Thanks, Orion.
Thanks, Orion.
Should
You
we
know,
do? Do we want to do Katie? Quick?
Katie's
A
here.
little quickie.
Katie is in touch with the World Wide Web. Katie, let us in.
Hi,
on What's
everybody.
going on in the world?
Yes, I've been speaking to all of our online community. Happy full moon. We love seeing where everyone's tuning in from. We have Brazil, Mexico, Canada. Wow. Different countries, same moment. Let's hear from some of you. We have Eric from Canada with a blessing. He says, may we give power to love, light to life, and presence to art. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
And one more, we have David from New York with a blessing. He says, may all destructive forces be transmuted into creative acts of love and loving acts of creativity.
That's a nice way of
Beautiful.
putting it.
Thank you,
Isn't that
online
nice?
friends. And as always, if you ever can't make it in person, you can make it online on YouTube. Just search CoSM Vision. And all thanks to our cool people in the back, John, Trevor, and TJ.
Yay!
They're our AV team.
Thank you,
Love.
CoSM crew.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. Well. Well, tonight, we may be thinking of loved ones, maybe even ourselves, who might be suffering distress in body or mind. Every CoSM full moon, we take a few moments to turn inside and hold in our heart those who might benefit from a healing prayer. To strengthen this blessing, recall the name of your loved one as we pray.
Great Spirit, thank you for blessing us with this day and for our precious body and soul. We feel the light of Spirit shining in our hearts. And as we breathe, a glow expands to surround us, just like a luminous sphere.
The brightness in our hearts magnifies as we join together in a gleaming web with countless others around the world. A luminous net of beings. From the superabundance of our combined energy field, we envision rays of healing light surrounding and protecting us, our friends and family.
May the light shine on all who need healing. May Spirit renew each soul with creative power to rebuild stronger, weave peace and harmony across the earth. May the water, air, fire, and earth be purified, and the web of life be strong and resilient.
And everyone can say, Amen.
Amen. Well, some who are with us may be grieving the loss of a family member or a friend. We send our deep condolences to those who are in mourning. We acknowledge the sacred space of sorrow and compassion that we carry for all those suffering on our planet. Remembering the brevity of life, we appreciate the beauty of every precious day.
Almighty Spirit, we remember the souls of the beloved ones who have passed on. Cherishing them in our heart, they remain close. Now, to evoke their memory, recall their names as we reflect together for a moment in silent prayer, sending a wave of love from our being to theirs. And together we say, may their memory be a blessing. So,
Well,
let's see. Well,
I believe-
now we have our wonderful Alex Spatty coming back to do the future news. We always do the future news, don't we? We're so glad to have you, Alex Spatty.
Happy to be here.
If you
Future
follow her, you can
news.
see her dance.
Oh, jeez.
She dances.
Alexa.
You ought to follow her.
Yeah. It's fun.
She's awesome.
We get jiggy with it.
She is so
We're going to dance tonight, I think.
I brought my dancing shoes.
I mean, I
yeah.
hope so. Cut the rug a little bit, a little moonwalk. Not literally cut the rug.
No.
We're not going to do that. That's a saying I heard once, and I just think it's great. So now I say it all the time just to confuse people, I guess. Thank you so much for being here. How we doing? We're having a good time. Beautiful work, just brilliance. Thank you so much, Dan, for being here. That was so cool, and we're just so glad that you came out for this. As mentioned, it's a cold night, but our hearts are warm, and we're going to maintain that warmth together. So as our ceremony comes to a close, remember, folks, the night is still young, and we're about to activate part 2. So let's get right into it. Tonight we have some live music from our dear friend DJ Truemaster. He's in the building tonight. Give it up for him. Little backgrounds. Raised in a jazz-influenced household and shaped by soul, R&B, disco, and hip-hop, his musical foundation is rooted in groove, rhythm, and feeling. He has this belief, what is it? The dance floor is a shared language. There he is right there. I see you. What's up? I see you. We're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to get down with our bad selves, I reckon, and it's going to be a good one. So we're going to do a little set change in here.
It's all going to happen right here with the fire.
Yeah, this is a
You don't wanna move
multi-purpose.
away from there.
Absolutely
So
not.
cozy.
I couldn't agree more.
But the parlor's going to be open too. So
yeah, we got the parlor open. We're going to reset this this spot right here for some music. We're going to have some live painting over in the corner here. Give it up for Ralph, our boy Ralph. He works in our kitchen. Delicious cook, delicious food. And we also have Ruby Salvo in the building tonight as well. She's going to be pushing some pigments, so they'll be together. As mentioned, Jewel, raise your hand again, Jewel. She's just beautiful. Get some good juju with Juju. She will be offering. We have this nice numerology theme tonight, which wasn't actually planned, but it worked out that way. So you will be offering a variety of different numerology readings and tarot readings. So there's a little bit for everyone. There's a sign. She's got an amazing setup, really setting the bar for a nice activation station. You can sign up for that in the Gray House shop. Get yourself some artful gifts and an opportunity to connect with Jewel. We also have Rosie Rose and Dr. Mike in the house. Woo! We know them. We love them. They're going to be doing the community sand mandala, which you two have been doing here since forever. Do we know the
Oh no, they were
first
doing
one?
it at Omega with us.
That's where it
way,
started?
but yeah, it was like 30-some years ago. We've been teaching.
Amazing.
We were teaching at Omega together for 28 years.
And don't you carry the sand over from the previous sand? So there's always a little bit of last time sand, which is just so cool. So we'll start that around 9:30 again with the set change. That'll be happening over in the room right across the way. There's another fire over there.
Yes, awfully
So
nice.
that's cool. We'll be cozy. And we'll start that around 9:30-ish. And that's an opportunity. You two will kind of activate it. And it's an opportunity for you to get creative. And they'll teach you how to use the sand so it doesn't dump out everywhere. And we'll make some squiggles. It's going to be amazing.
Take a turn.
And after the music comes to a close, which is around 11:45, we'll head back over there for the disillusion of the sand mandala. And you have an opportunity to shovel that baby to the center.
Can I say just one thing?
Please.
You know, the
do.
practice of non-attachment
Yes.
is one where you learn, to let go. And so we do this with the sand mandala. We scrape it up and we give a blessing to the scraping of it up. We make art, we destroy it right here with Rosie and Mike. So
Amen.
Come on over and play that game.
There's always a group intention that
Yes. Right.
these move forward to. It's not just for the
Always.
sake of the beauty itself, but you always integrate it with a higher vision. So I appreciate that so much, and it's great. It's worth catching the opening blessing.
And you can
Thank
take
you.
some of the sand home with you,
You should.
which is cool. I still
Because
have some from like 6 years ago on my
on
altar, so-
our altars, we have a place for them. And now I'm starting to fill bottles with them.
Oh,
Because
nice.
we've been doing this for a long time together. But they're beautiful because they're
Stacks on
all a little
stacks.
different.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. We'll be sort of activating this entire house. Obviously, head on over to the Mushroom Cafe because, well, I don't know about you, but if you got the munchies or something, that's the place to go for sure. We got tea, we got coffee, we got good drinks, we got cookies, we got everything. Wraps, bowls. We got it's just delicious, really. And it's great to keep your energy up for the dance floor.
But let me
really.
just say this before you go away from the Mushroom Cafe, that when you go
Please.
in there are at least, I think, 22 artists who have muraled the Mushroom Cafe. It's like a tattooed room, you know what I mean? Everybody got a little spot, and they put their thing on there, and these are the best artists. Some of them, I mean, they are all 22 selected. They were artists in residence here briefly while they did that work. And just for those of you who know, when you're waiting in line, there is a little card set that's hanging. There's a couple of them that are hanging under the counter that you can play the game where it's kind of the Where's Waldo of the Mushroom Cafe. Yeah. You can find the details and learn a little bit about the artist. So there are these cards that are there to entertain you while you're waiting for your order. So I just want you to know they were there, and we'll keep hiding more of those if they're popular. But yeah, so
It
it's
is
fun.
like a little Where's
But it's
Waldo.
also a great time if you're standing in line. The whole meaning of that is to get to know the people that are around you that you don't know. So that is another activity, but you can share those pictures together, you see.
Amen to that. Thank you for highlighting the artists.
Thank
It's a really cool
you.
space
It
that
is. It's
will
a-
continue
it's
to
a masterpiece.
tattoo.
Yeah.
That will continue to tattoo. If at any point you're feeling like you need a little bit of grounding or just like a quiet space, we do have a dedicated peer support team that can take you to just a spot to chill out for a second. We want you to feel comfortable. If you need anything at all, there's a bunch of staff here. Give it up for our staff for a second, because it's like the little engine that is, like we're just crushing it 24/7. I just love this team so much. So we're all here to support you. We want you to feel comfortable and happy. There's water stations. We love water. It's great. Drink it. So tonight's going to be great. A couple quick plugs about some upcoming things, because this is the future news. We have Art Church tomorrow, and it's actually happening in here, I heard.
We're having the Art Church right in here, you guys. Come to Art Church. It is the most fun thing, and everybody can draw. We all did it in nursery school, so come on. Some of us are professionals, but some of us haven't been doing it. But we have a good time, and there are people that just write poetry and also journal, so you can feel comfortable doing that as well as bringing your iPad or whatever. What we do is to music, we profess silence, and we draw. Some of us paint, but I use watercolors, but what's easy, basic materials. It's lap art, basically, and we have this wonderful musical soundtrack that we're silent to for 45 minutes, and then we talk about it, and people from the outer world get to join in. We have, if you raise your hand, So anyway, that is our church. I'd like you to know, and if you can't come this time, try to come. It's Sunday after every full moon. We have our church, so I love it. It's my favorite, don't you? We all love
definitely come tomorrow, because it's like the only time we're gonna do it in here, which is pretty special.
In here is so special. We'll have the fire going, and like the old days. Anybody remember the old days when we did it in here? Some of us do, yes. Okay.
Yeah, so come on out for that. In a couple weeks, we have our Valentine's weekend at CoSM, which is a really cool experience. We're offering 2 intimate experiences with Alex and Allyson, centered on love, connection, sacred partnership. If you liked the topics that were discussed tonight, on Saturday, on Valentine's Day, we gather for an evening of love featuring a shared dinner, a tour of Entheon with Alex and Allyson. You can bring a beloved
Dessert
or a
in
friend.
here.
We do dessert. We got chocolate.
Then we sit around, and all of us couples, we talk about each other. We have mothers and sons and stuff come too, so it's not like you have to be a couple or partners or whatever. best friends. You know, we've had
Yeah.
all that. But we
Yeah.
eat dinner together. We complete the dinner in here with dessert and champagne, frankly. And we have a little wine at dinner, and we have just a great time together. So we love to be with you. We sit around and ask some of these questions, and it's very interactive.
Yeah, you can go deep with it. And then the following day on the 15th, we do a brunch, which is, again, just, if maybe you're single and
You can
looking
do
to
them
mingle,
both,
you can
pair
come to
them up,
brunch.
or you can
Yeah.
just come to the brunch if you feel like it. Maybe your partner can't, you want to do something else that night, but you'd like to come and celebrate with us for the brunch. So we do it both, and it's fun. We do that brunch in the dining hall, and we do the dinner in the dining hall, too.
And how often is Valentine's Day on a Saturday? So that's cool. So we're going to celebrate that in a couple
Yes.
weeks. So come on out for it.
Right
and
on
then
the day.
our 2020
Limited seats, really.
Yeah, we only have a few spots left for the dinner, and the brunch is still fully welcoming tickets. So we hope to see you there. We also have our 2026 workshop calendar. It's pretty much fully live. We're about to launch another full-day workshop with the Grays on figure study, full-day figure drawing.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Get a model in the same position for 6 hours. You can do 10 drawings, or you can start a painting. And if some of us would like to, this guy, and I too, but I'll probably do more than one in 6 hours because I like to do watercolors, but Alex will do 8, probably an oil painting.
Well, that's
So
cool.
anyway, we wanted a 6-hour pose, so we're inviting you to join us for that. And we're learning too. Okay, that's just the way it is with figure drawing. You're just always getting better and learning. So
Amen to that.
start
And-
anywhere.
And that's
Yeah.
just the tip of the iceberg. Throughout the year, we'll be welcoming an extraordinary range of facilitators to CoSM, including the Grays, Chris Dyer, Amanda Sage, Miles Johnson, Nessie Gomez, Cloud Cord, Patricia Watwood, Perry Kroger, Eloria Weaver, David Heskin, Randall Roberts, Ben Ridgway. The list goes on and on. They are from all over the globe.
Everything from voice to
Geometry.
ZBrush,
Yep.
and Ableton, and
Yep.
So anyway, we're being diverse, and this is who does programming, who's the head of the program committee. This person.
Yeah, and
She's got-
Genevieve for
She's
workshops.
and
She's great
Genevieve's
too.
for workshops,
Yeah.
and they got it going on. I'm just saying.
We're getting it going, folks. We like to make this space activated. We like to book out that weekend calendar as much as possible. And it all is made possible due to your participation. So tonight's going to be great. If you are interested in enriching your creative practice, please check out our website for all the creative offerings that we have going on this year. We're just getting started, longest January ever, but it's just us. We're like the pinball machine, right? Pooh! It's going to be amazing. With February and onward, we're going to have a great time. So thank you for being here. I'm going to pass it off to you two for the final benediction.
Thank you,
we'll
Alexa.
get it going.
I believe we are all beacons of
Yes.
light. We wonder, what can we do in a world as beleaguered as we live in today? And we have to say, we have to be a beacon. We have to be a place of light. That's why we want to create CoSM and keep recreating it with you. So, so thank you so much, Alexa, for being that towering beacon that you are
course.
of really.
Right back at you.
Yeah,
You
you're
two are great.
shining with us.
Hey, no problem.
And I think that, well, look, this is a kind of a sanctuary for the creative spirit. And that's what we intend for it to be. Nandan, you acknowledged it as being that kind of a seed and in your journey. So we pray to activate even a little bit of that spark, in each one of you. And I think that this is a time, like, it's right before, like, kind of the Chinese New Year whole thing about the fire horse year and everything like that. So that's a metaphor. There's a metaphor to tap into, even if you've got this kind of intentional dream yourself, what would give it horsepower? Like, take it into this phase now, like, get a jump on it and activate your creative life you know, by giving it that kind of lightning, you know, and that kind of fire that you can carry in your creative life. That's always going to act. It's always going to get you going. You know, what's going to get you going. So that means digging deep into what is the best that you have that you can offer, you know, and what is it you want to see in the world. And so with those kind of intentions that exceed only your own benefit, you can bring the service and the light that you carry, you know, in the most potent way, you know, to shift things to a better world.
Thank
that
you.
we can envision together.
Thank
And,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to testify.
All right.
I'm down. I'm there.
I forgot one last announcement because I'm
please.
reading off of 9-point font and I somehow glazed over it. But Rosie and Mike are also offering a mandala workshop in May. So if you're interested in that as well and get down with the mandala,
Yeah.
there's 3 spaces left. Sorry, this list is a long boy.
But I needed to shout y'all out. I love you.
Oh, we don't want to forget to say that. That's important.
Absolutely. 'Cause
They are some damn amazing workshop leaders, and you can be at any level of no experience at all. You get to move your body and create art together and individually and go deep into symbols, and mandalas are just an incredible dive into art for all, whether you're just never did anything or you're a professional. It works across the board with them, and that there's 3 seats left. Get them if it's in your heart. So we're going to do next the benediction, which is the closing of this part of the ceremony, and then we're going to move on to all the other hilarity. Okay? All right. So here we
Okay,
go.
this one's called Dedication to Love. From the core of our hearts, we dedicate ourselves to the complete and full expression of love in all our activities and in all our relationships.
Love is the soul's medicine, a refuge in our hearts, protecting us from utter despair. Finding compassion in the eyes of the beloved and the stranger gives us the courage to endure.
May love sensitize us with care and wisdom. May love help heal the sickness and wounds of life. May love enable us to forgive and accept ourselves.
May love enable us to forgive and accept each other. May love help us overcome our cruelty and bitterness, our greed and jealousy, our ignorance and delusion.
May love rule our hearts and minds, directing us to reach out, doing our best to benefit others, to heal suffering, to give gifts, to create beauty in the infinite network that is our world.
A heart of loving kindness pours creative grace into the world to alleviate pain and mend the heart net. To the healing art of love, we dedicate ourselves.
May any merit generated by this gathering be offered to the benefit and liberation of all beings.
Happy full moon.